All right, so Joe Budden and Mark Lamont Hill is like supposed to be clowning Melyssa Ford. Now that she gone, they talking a whole lot of shit. Now there's no more Melyssa Ford. It's easy to say now when she was up there with her cheeks all judging y'all wasn't saying that. Anyway, let's go. The title of this video, coming from Danny from the Stop. Joe Budden and Mark Lamont Hill clown Melyssa Ford.
Read between the lines, audience. There's a crew of them out there between the ages of 48 and 54. Oh, I'm looking. I see you, Mark.
I'll let you talking a bit, eh? Keep going. So Melyssa Ford and Joe Budden are exchanging shots again, and there's even other members that are participating in the back and forth, specifically Mark Lamont Hill. I just played the clip of them talking about older women who have to make sacrifices as they get older. And Mark Lamont Hill would comment and say or make a Canadian accent. Now, that is in no doubt reference to Melyssa Ford, who used to be on the show and hasn't really been engaging, but I guess she has done some engagement when asked about it. And she's been posting, memes that might indicate working in a male workforce is really hard for a woman. This is kind of the storyline she has been saying.
And that's what she said. They ran her out of there. They had too many dick jokes and she was sick of it. And she said they was holding her back and preventing her from doing her thing. I personally felt like she was a little bit too snooty to be sitting on the couch around with them, and I like Mona as the addition in her place.
When she interviewed with Charlemagne.
I've had my own experiences of being around a certain type of, a certain group of men who exhibit groupthink. So it has an effect on you, as somebody who's just kind of like absorbing it simply just because I'm a woman.
And also in her Ari Melber interview.
What did you take from your time on the Budden Podcast?
Oh, wow. It's interesting being the only woman in a room full of men. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Now,
but that's weird for women to say. Let me just interject my own, perhaps somewhat chauvinist take. But it's always weird when I hear women say that, but in the same breath argue for equality and them wanting to be in the workforce and everything. What do you think dudes is doing at work? Dudes are going to be dudes. You want to be in there or what? You understand what I'm saying? Like, there was a time when women generally weren't in the office or weren't at the plant or weren't on the... Nobody wanted to hear their voice. Not saying nobody wanted to hear their voice. Let me put that better because I know how y'all take everything out of context. Their voices were not put out to the masses to be heard. They didn't have those opportunities. My thing is, for you to now enter a workspace that is male-dominated, let's be honest, podcasting in general, and particularly the Joe Budden podcast, obviously just by virtue of numbers, is male-dominated. To expect the men to somehow change and modify their energy to match yours is preposterous. What you want to be in here for? You know what I'm saying? That's like if men was pushing to be hairdressers and mad they don't put on more sports. You know what I'm saying? And mad that women are standing around being women. It's just, why would you bring yourself into that situation? That's just my perspective. Anyway, here we go.
We arrived to today, where she just recently did an interview and she was discussing how in her whole existence, 40 plus years, maybe close to 50, she never really became intimate with a man. She outlined how she used to only mess with men of means, and here's what she said.
I don't know if I've really had an intimate relationship with a man in my entire life.
Whose fault is that?
Dated men of means. So I started flying by PJ and staying in, wonderful hotels and incredible suites and traveling the world. And I've literally had a guy, it wasn't even a first date. It literally was a first hang, spend $100,000 on me. I've had somebody else present me with like $150,000 necklace.
Now this...
Oh, she's doing the woe is me. I'm so pretty that I couldn't have realness. You was Melyssa Ford. Stop playing now.
I've had somebody else present me with like $150,000 necklace.
Now, this dovetails into the conversation that was had earlier that Joe Budden was talking about with older women who kind of lived a certain lifestyle, gravitating to, the finer things in life, and then look up and don't have much going for themselves outside of materialistic needs.
Who fault is
in many
that?
cases, don't have much to show for themselves in terms of actual generational wealth. Now, we also have to look at another interesting post Melyssa Ford made when this came out shortly after. And it was a post about how she wants to show who she really is and how she really gets down. Now, this could have been a general post, but we do know Melyssa Ford takes to social media to address things in a roundabout way, not directly. And here's the clip for yourself so you can see.
As a lady,
I
Mike.
want to regulate my emotions. Sometimes I want to blow shit up. I want to show motherfuckers exactly who it is that they fucking with so that they never forget. I want them to build a documentary around my life on why you shouldn't fuck with people that are not fucking with you. So don't come to this account thinking that I'm all sunshine and rainbows. No, sometimes I want to be just as petty as the motherfuckers who are fucking with me. Have a good day.
So as you can tell, both of these folks are going kind of back and forth, leaving things for interpretation. And in the podcast space, that things for interpretation are often left for the fans to break down. It's a dangerous thing to do. Now we have to focus on Mark Lamont Hill, who has been critiqued a little bit because they're saying that he is playing into certain aspects of the show while also trying to pretend like he's cool with Melyssa Ford. I can't lie. That's one of the most odd things about this whole breakup between Melyssa Ford and the Joe Budden podcast is how Mark seemingly plays the line between being cool with Melyssa Ford, but also participating in the joke.
He's still interested in that box.
Now, on the space, Mark Lamont Hill said that he spoke with Melyssa Ford.
Allegedly. I'm not saying that. I know he's a married man. I'm just talking. I can hear y'all already. You don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up.
Recently, like as last week. So maybe there's some type of understood agreement where everybody knows Mark Lamont Hill is going to play into the joke. Now, as for Melyssa Ford, her podcast is no longer in existence.
Really?
Right? It has recorded a while back, I think like a month or two ago. And that's interesting because I thought once she left the Joe Budden podcast, she would continue to do her thing.
To double down, right.
That isn't necessarily the case. And now we have to see how things move forward.
She went back to doing what she do best.
I don't know what her next move will be, but many are rooting for her, as evidenced by my comment section. And only time will tell what she has planned. I think she could have done special things with that podcast, largely
Why not?
due to the fact that she was getting like hundreds of thousands of plays on Spotify. So if she remained consistent, I could have seen her maybe elevating to a level where she was somebody to check out for.
Right.
But once again, Melyssa Ford couldn't find the balance between being the Vixen and being the elder statesman of the Vixen culture. Like, she didn't want to play into who she used to be. In many ways, she looked.
You should be interviewing all the youngins and put a little visual to it. And I don't know, just you can work this. Melyssa, come on now, do better.
Ashamed of who she used to be and could never confront maybe the over-sexualized persona that she felt she had to assume.
You did it, own it.
Or maybe that she assumed in order to get what she wanted in her life, right? That was always the underpinning of Melyssa Ford. And to be quite honest, with a lot of, Vixen culture is that they hate that they have to be over-sexualized, but they're so beautiful that they do get a lot of privilege, so they do use it when their back's against the wall.
So, right. You can't have both. It just don't work that way. But let me know what you think about it. Is Joe and them messed up for even coming at her like that? And should Melyssa Ford get back on her goddamn horse and make something else get to popping? If you like this video, check out this other video about Melyssa Ford and her assets.
Coochie, balls, drugs, luxury vehicles. Coochie, balls, drugs, luxury vehicles. Coochie, balls, drugs, luxury vehicles. Violence.
Oh man, we're failing as a people.